All right.
We're live.
We should be. What's up, chat? Let us know if everything's coming through all right on your end. And let us know if the audio is okay for everyone, because I kind of adjust it here in the background. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. We got a pretty solid lineup here of people today, as you can tell. And by the way, if you are watching this in the future, meaning not live, leave a comment with #future, so I know that you came back to watch this. I saw another streamer doing that.
Let us know you're from the future.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? Year's coming to an end, and we figured it'd be fun to kind of sit together and just kind of chat about, how the 2025 foraging season went, some of our wins, some of our lessons learned, new things we learned, what we harvested, and also, kind of what's in store for 2026. So guys on the panel here today, do you guys maybe we just we'll go through and each of you can introduce yourselves briefly, like your name, where you're from, where people can find you, and where they can, get in touch with the work you do, all your foraging classes and whatnot. Tim, let's let Tim start because he's the only one who hasn't been on the podcast yet. So.
Okay. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. My name is Tim Clemens, and I'm a forager in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. You can find me as MN Forager on social media or Ironwood Foraging Company.
Heck yeah. Bryan?
Hey, everybody. My name is Bryan Bramlett. I run a nonprofit called Healing Ecosystems, and you can find me on all those different chats. I am currently in Asheville, North Carolina, or just outside of Asheville in a little town called Mars Hill. So coming at you from Western North Carolina.
Sweet. I'm loving it. We're kind of all over the place this time. Yeah. Orion?
Hey, everyone. Orion Aon. I run Forage Colorado. And if it wasn't clear, I am in Colorado. I live in Colorado. And you can find me either Forage Colorado or Orion Aon. Haven't been much on the socials this year. I took a break from content creation because I'm writing a book.
Yeah, very excited. We're all excited about that one. I can't wait. I know you've been working really hard on it.
Yeah.
So also, chat, I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Drop that in the comments. And then also, what are some of the plants and mushrooms you foraged for this year? Or maybe if you went hunting, what did you hunt? Or if you went fishing, what did you fish? And yeah, make sure to ask all your questions as much as you want. We'll try to answer them as we go. So for each of you guys, I think it'd be fun to start kind of describing your 2025 foraging season in one word. Like, what would that be?
Ooh.
You can just shout it out, whoever wants to go first, while I pour my
one word would be different, because I had a very different season than I normally do.
In what way?
I spent a lot of time taking pictures instead of actually picking plants and harvesting them. I've had our pantry and freezer are full of stuff, so I didn't focus on foraging this year to get food. I focused more on foraging to find things I needed photos of, doing classes and that sort of thing. And the mushroom year was kind of lame this year, so
yeah, we'll get to that.
Didn't do much, yeah.
In a lot of places. What about you, Tim?
I'm going to steal Orion's because it allows me to also give a little bit more explanation. So different. I usually am taking photos and not harvesting as much, but this year I actually tried to go as hard as I could into, foraging for subsistence, and then also making, personal connections, and then not posting about it really anywhere. So that's been really different,
Yeah. What about you, Bryan?
I would say communal, because I looked over the questions you were asking, I started reflecting on my season. And when I think about the things that stand out, the only things I really remember in any substantial way are times that I'm foraging with other people. So getting people together to actually do stuff was a big part of my season. And I'm looking forward to that being a much bigger part of my upcoming year as well.
No, that's huge. I think that kind of describes a lot of mine too. Like for me, I think it would be exciting would be the word for many reasons. One, we just got a lot done out there this year, and then meeting awesome people, like meeting some of you guys in person finally. Been just social friends for so long, and yeah. What about you, Lindey?
I would say new.
New?
Just because I met so many new people, I did so many new classes, and I saw so many new plants. So it's just like a very eye-opening year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lindey is like, it's not like your third year foraging, I think.
Yeah.
Right? So she didn't really forage before me.
Yeah.
But she's been learning really fast, which is awesome. So let's like talk about, how was this year compared, or this season, this many seasons throughout this year compared to previous years where you guys live? Was it the same? Was it very different? Was it strange, maybe even? Who wants to go? Don't be shy, guys.
Yeah, we had, we have an early start up here with maple syrup. So I lived out in a yurt with Sam there for over a month. And so that was different. It was really fun. And then we got a ton of rain, and then halfway through the year, the rain stopped. So it was like there was no baseline this year. It was very odd, but really fun. I'd say the biggest letdown this year, we had everything except hickory nuts. Our hickory nut season was like the worst anyone's seen in living memory. So
did anyone else experience that, Bryan? Well, me and Orion probably don't have hickory nuts, but you might, or you are.
Oh yeah, the hickory nuts in these mountains have not produced in the whole 5 years I've lived here, except for small amounts. So I don't have a great reference point. When I went down to Alabama over the past couple of weeks, my friend Josh in Atlanta brought me a few hickory nuts, so that was good. And there's a ton of bitter nuts on the ground, which there usually are down there. But yeah, not a ton of hickory nuts. That's one of the things I'm really looking forward to deepening into in the next few years. Hopefully we'll have some good seasons at some point.
There's a lot to learn there for nuts in general. I know you've been diving deep into the acorns over the years, and I'd love to touch on that in a bit. But Orion, how was it for you this year compared to others?
What I saw was pretty consistent, except the mushroom season was a little weird. We had a lot of really early rain, April, May, June. And so I picked my first porcinis in the first week of June. And I saw reports of people finding them on June 1st, which is almost 3 weeks to a month before I normally am seeing them.
Yeah. For us,
and then by July, the season was starting to dry up. The rain stopped. It was kind of rough in July and August, which is the opposite of our mushroom season typically.
Yeah, and I would say that was very similar to us here. I mean, we're all both in the Rocky Mountains. It was just, it seemed like the spring and winter last year were kind of milder than what I've experienced in the past. Granted, I've only been here 4.5 years now in Montana. Then yeah, it got really hot, not a lot of rain. And there was rain, but it never really drenched the ground consistently. It was more rain than usual throughout, I would say. Yeah. And then, things were just early. Porcini, 100%. I always find them way early. To the one spot we went to, we were already late, and it was beginning of June. And I mean, we found still 60 pounds of porcini, but most of them were already big. A lot of them that we took home were already bugged out. Yeah. And then from what I was hearing, northwestern Montana, the huckleberries were super early as well, but big, really flush. So it's kind of interesting how that all works. Was it similar Bryan? It sounds like both for Tim and us, it was kind of a weird year. What about you, Bryan?
To some degree. I mean, the first things I remember are ramps, which are super duper consistent. We have some really big patches here. So we did our usual ramp harvest with friends. And then June berries come to mind, which are not really June berries anymore. Last week of May, last 2 weeks of May sometimes is when I'm really getting them. And by the beginning of June, they're pretty much starting to wither. So yeah, that was a bit peculiar. And then our mushroom season was all right. Like we had some morels, but the rains didn't totally hit at the right time. So I had one good harvest of morels, which I'm happy with. I'm happy to find any morels. And then the summer mushroom season was overall fairly weak, not terrible. Like there's always a ton of mushrooms around here, but it wasn't those like huge buku amounts of chanterelles or anything. So that was a little bit more scarce than usual. But black walnuts were hitting like crazy. I've never seen black walnuts in such an abundance as we had this year. The squirrels were going absolutely crazy. We harvested just buckets and buckets. I still have buckets to process. And then the white oak acorns were crazy up here. I've also never seen a year of white oak acorns like that. And I think a lot of people who have lived here a lot longer than I have had never seen white oak acorns like that, like just carpeting. And then when I went to Alabama, the acorns were off the chain. Like once again, I've never seen acorns like that. Like all the reds, all the whites, all the little pin oaks, like everything was just going off. So yeah, it was just very highly variable.
Yeah, like it always is to an extent. Well, like what do you guys think causes like an early mushroom season like that, or just in general early season for a lot of these plants and mushrooms?
Temperatures.
Hard to tell, right?
It's gotta be temperature and moisture.
Yeah.
Like the light levels are consistent. Like the photo periods don't change. So the only other variables are temperature and moisture.
Yeah, and I know you usually, Orion, you like to go in and really study the weather, like the water patterns and rain patterns.
Yeah, I focus on that because it's so important for mushrooms here.
Yeah. What is that program you use again usually?
I just use NOAA, the NOAA weather, weather.gov rain precip estimation map.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of see like estimated rainfall, and I really hone in on the rainfall there. Soil temperature is a super big deal. I think the early mushrooms, especially, it seemed like the higher elevations warmed really quickly this spring. So I think that's why the mushrooms flushed so early. I'm curious. Somebody asked in the chat what causes a bad nut season, and I was going to ask Tim that as well. Like, do you have any insight about bad hickory seasons?
No idea.
Are they like previous year, like affects the following year, or they're like 1 year fruiting?
Such a good question. Don't know any of that. I'm still new to the hickory nut game, only a few years in. And yeah, I mean, like there's some years, actually there's like some decades where the hickory nut crop is destroyed in areas because of like a beetle, some sort of beetle that teams up with a fungus, the classic Cinderella story, to kill trees. And so that, like a large swaths of Wisconsin and Minnesota, they're coming off, a decade of death of hickory trees. So it varies. Yeah. Is it like the weather? Was the pollination bad? I have no idea, really.
Yeah. And they had a good year or a decent year, like 2 years ago when I was up there, we picked a bunch. So maybe they're just like, maybe that was like a semi-mast year and then they're taking a break or something.
Well, the squirrel pressure was really tough this year, and they came early. So the nuts came early, and the squirrels were on top of it because they're the real professionals, and we're just like enthusiasts.
For sure. Yeah. That's what I say every time somebody asks me, like, what about the wildlife? Do you like consider leaving some for the wildlife? And I'm like, no, if they want it, they'll get it every single time.
Get it.
Yeah, switch that around. Like they might leave some for me.
Some for us.
I'm getting there way late.
Yeah, that is true. They're there. That's their living room. They're there every day. They have every moment to.
They know exactly when they're ripe, and oftentimes they eat them before they're ripe.
Yeah. Sometimes I beat them to the choke cherries. That always feels good.
Yeah. They just didn't want those ones. Those are the bad tasting ones.
Yeah, probably. I'm like happy here. I'm getting some choke cherries, and I'm getting the worst of the crop.
They were like, man, that guy comes out here. He loves these choke cherries. Do you think we should leave him that one this year? Leaving it for you.
Just one bush out of 10.
Yeah. Well, going into winter here, it's been really strange in Montana. I mean, that's been the strangest part of the foraging season so far of the year. We've just had like this April-like weather all November long, and kind of humid it felt for Montana standards. And then that's like Southwest Montana where we are. Northwest Montana had these torrential like downpours, crazy storms,
Yeah, windstorms.
flooded rivers. Yeah, those windstorms that we had that Orion experienced too in Colorado. And I mean, and then like east of the Rockies, it's like sub-zero temperatures. They're already ice fishing like we usually are here. It's been weird. And then like a big part of that was I was really excited to go get rose hips this year in November. But like when I got there, they were like all moldy already. And I thought I had timed it pretty good. So I don't know if that was just because of the weird like spring-like weather and not like a good frost that stayed, you know.
Must be like they froze and then it got hot again and they molded.
Yeah. It was a bummer because they were just everywhere. Like,
and I think just a couple weeks earlier they were like perfect or close to perfect, but they hadn't froze yet, and then they were just instant mold. It was a bummer.
Sadly.
Yeah, that mold happens to our ornamental crab apples too. If we get like a freeze thaw, luckily this year is still good, so I've been crushing those things. But yeah, some years they'll be like moldy already, which sucks. Because then you also miss out on the fermented stage where they kind of like are like pop rocks on your tongue a little bit because of the alcohol. I love that.
Really? Yeah. I'll have to try them when they're kind of like that. I've never,
Yeah, if you have like a solid winter and then it goes gradually up into the warmth of spring, there's like a week there where, they fizz on your tongue.
You really got to beat the squirrels and birds to them.
Yeah, because they're drunk too. They get drunk.
Yeah, that's not fun.
We find you just laying underneath a tree. Too many apples.
We actually, we haven't announced this in the podcast yet, but Lindey and I bought our first house. That's why the whole studio looks all new. Congrats. Super pumped. Thank you. And we have garden space now finally, and we have a crabapple tree on the property that's actually really big. Like it's got a trunk like this, and supposedly it's like a really good one. So
the old owner said it's really good.
Yeah,
so we have to try it. Yeah,
heck yeah,
get excited.
That's awesome.
It's been fun. It's been a lot, but getting settled in here. So looking back at this year, what kind of like stands out as your guys' biggest foraging win? If you had to choose one. I'm gonna pour some wine here. This, by the way, is a spruce tip and rhubarb wine. I wish I could share it with you virtually right now.
Cheers.
My friend robbed her dad's backyard for some rhubarb.
Yeah.
And I finally made the wine, so it turned out really well. I like it.
Stealing rhubarb is how I got into foraging. I was a little kid, just like robbing yards in the neighborhood. Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
That's like a rite of passage.
Thievery.
That's an epic story. Like epic way to get into foraging, I would say.
Yeah.
Your neighbors were all just like, get off my lawn.
They would never see us because we're too good. Us meaning me and my identical twin, Theo. Yeah, we're just too slick with it,
Wait, there's another Tim out there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He's just as good at foraging, and he doesn't consider it his whole personality. So he's cool.
It's gotta be fun finding. So for biggest wins, though, what do you guys got? What comes to mind?
I've got the first thing that came to thought was I do some private classes here and there throughout the year, and I had one group that was really excited about getting into mushrooms, and it was kind of a rough year. So I put in like a lot of research the week before we met up and like picked a new spot to go based on the terrain and the rain I had seen in the area. And it's a spot I'd never been to before. So they got to experience kind of how I picked apart a new area. I explained to them like my process of digital scouting and everything beforehand. And then we went in there and just had like an awesome day. Like we picked, I think like over 20 different edible species, identified a bunch of others for them, found hedgehogs, found chanterelles, just like a killer day.
That's
so cool.
Yeah, probably the biggest win, the thing that came to mind when you mentioned that. Because I had like a very light foraging year otherwise for my personal food.
Yeah. And you're at that level where you can go out and get 20 different edible species. I'm not quite there yet with mushrooms.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Goals.
I think I'm over 50 in Colorado, but there's like I have a like a list, and it's like over 100 now out of the species. And then when you include agaricus, it's like another 100 on top of that because we have so many different agaricus here.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Agaricus is one I'm just learning about.
They're
What
good.
about you, Tim?
Oh, dang. Let's see. I would say there's two, and they were both with Sam Fair. Honestly, I was looking back at this year, and almost all of my foraging was done with Sam, which was really cool. It started in the spring with living in his yurt, making 200 gallons of maple syrup. Man, that was tough. I had tendonitis in my elbows for the next 2 months after that. So I'm ready to do it again, though, now. And then it ended in late October. I went Lotus picking with him. And I didn't bring swim trunks, so I had to get in my boxers and hop in the Mississippi River and, get up to my chest in, cold winter water and look for those mud bananas with my feet. That was pretty fun.
That's such a visual.
So you're looking for roots.
Never been spoken before.
Yeah, we were looking for the roots, and then we found a ton of lotus nuts too. So like we canoed around and then filled the canoe with the lotus nuts, and then we hopped out and used the canoe for balance and like started shimmying down into the muck to look for the the lotus roots that look and feel kind of like a banana. They're kind of the size of a banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Were you like picking them up with your toes and dropping them into the canoe or
monkey style?
Well, my key word there was look. I didn't find any. My feet got really numb really quick, and then there's all these like other plants in there that cut you. So I was
snapping
like,
turtles.
For real. And that was my first time ever looking for them. And I have somewhat of a phobia of like water that isn't pool water. So I
know what you mean.
I'm going to die in here today. And also, this is just totally crazy what I'm doing right now in my boxers. Also, there was like 100 people there too. So this wasn't just like me and Sam. There was like 100 people there. And I'm just like, I don't have my swim trunks. Well, so
that's like must be what it looked like back in the day. Just like a whole tribe of people out in the muddy river, like
probably an even less
putting around, wearing less clothes.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Lotus are really a special blend. Eric actually asked, how do they taste? And it was my first year really learning more about Lotus. I had Jesse on the podcast here in the summer. We went deep dive into those. If you guys want to watch that, check it out if you really want to learn about them. But I would say the roots that we're talking about here, they're very much like waffle fries. Is that a good way to explain it? Like starchy,
gummy waffle fries. Yeah, they're so
they look like it too. Let me actually pull up. I think I had prepared some slides. I came a little bit prepared today. Let's see if I can find the one with the Lotus on it. I think this one, yeah. So these are some pics from the Wild Harvest Festival that we attended this year with Orion. Tim was there. Bryan sadly couldn't make it. You've never been, right, Bryan?
Oh, no, not yet. But this coming year on the list.
You need to do it.
Definitely.
I waited so long, and it was so worth it. But nice. Yeah, I don't think my mouse shows up here. I can actually draw on here, I think. But nope, that's not it. But hang on. You can see kind of in the middle there those mud bananas, they look like bananas kind of. And then I wish I had a picture in here of the cross section, but when you cut those in a cross section, you have these air pockets. And they kind of look like a waffle fry, and they're just super, super delicious. Probably, honestly, the coolest plant I learned about this year, I would say, for sure.
Best wild bread, for sure.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Have you guys all had the Lotus bread?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. So good. The best cornbread ever.
No, it's true.
It's better than cornbread.
Jesse and Laramie from Feral Foraging, they were at this event. They made kind of like a banana cornbread out of it, and it just 100% Lotus flour, which is a rare thing for wild grains that you can just use like 100% of that grain and have it be like fluffy and a good texture. Well, with Lotus, that is totally possible.
Yep.
And use the seeds for that though, which you see kind of in this top left, the green, weird alien looking pod. Those are the seeds in there.
It's kind of like a little alien eye. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like you're in the middle of the water, looking at that thing, trying to feel a banana with your toes.
What's that phobia? Like typhophobia or something with the where it's like a lot of holes.
Yeah, actually, I posted a clip from the Jesse podcast, and several people were like, "I can't believe you just made me look at this. I have this phobia."
Yeah.
I guess it's more common than you think. I don't have it, thank God. That would be a bummer.
Right.
Mike said, "Bro, you should."
Trypophobia.
What is it called?
Trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
The Lotus is like literally one of the examples on the picture.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, I can see how it's scary for some people. It does look alien-like. Tim, I think Mike said this in a response to you. He said, "Bro, you should swim a trot line in the middle of the night in beaver territory." It's surprising.
So what's interesting about that is Lotus territory is beaver territory. So like those like little ditches that those channels that they dig, man, the drop off is like 2 feet. It's like 2 feet deeper just in that little channel. So it is surprising. You go swimming for a little bit.
I'm surprised you don't like. So you grew up around all these lakes, but you didn't use them. Like you didn't like.
I did, but I always had this idea that a muskie was going to bite my toe off or something like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like the mud at the bottom. As soon as my feet hit the mud, it grosses me out. Can't do it.
So tubing over those lily pad patches wasn't the thing for you, huh? As a kid.
Oh, absolutely not. No, if there's nope.
Or like the moss and stuff. Yeah.
Well, if you guys do ever in chat right now, if you do ever consider going to the Wild Harvest Festival in Wisconsin, highly recommend. You can see some of the pictures here. It was a hoot. Mm-hmm. Really good food. And you just get to try a lot of new things and get to meet a lot of cool people and learn a lot. I took a bunch of notes that day, or the 3 days that were there. And yeah, highly recommend. I would say, well, so we covered for biggest win, we covered Tim, we covered Orion. I think Bryan, what was your biggest win?
I would say most recently the Acorns, honestly. I was really sad that there wasn't red oak acorns up here this year because it's the main ones that I put back for teaching classes and for eating. And so going down to Alabama and going to these trees that I've been going to for like 4 years, I think it's actually 5 years, but at least 4 years in a row. Speaking of nut production and how unpredictable it is, these are these street trees that are planted near a baseball field where I used to play like Little League when I was a tyke. And they're just in all this sunshine. I think they might be getting fertilizer runoff from the fields, but they are absolutely bumping every single year. It's a Mast year. So
powerful.
It was awesome to see just so many acorns. I think I ended up with 80 pounds that I brought back with me. So that was a huge win. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with them now because I live in like a 350 square foot cabin. But they're up in my loft right now. So that was a huge win. That's going to get me through the year. I'm going to be able to teach a bunch of people about acorn. And then piggybacking on Orion's mushroom win, I would say we had a mushroom camp this year for the 5th year in a row. And first year I showed up here, I was like, we got to have a mushroom camp and just go out in the woods with friends and harvest mushrooms because the mushrooms are absolutely insane here, the diversity. So every year we just go out, it can be between like 5 to 15 people or so, and go to one of these gorgeous spots and just pick as many mushrooms as we can, lay out a big old ID blanket. And I mean, you will have just, 100 species on there easily. So starting to sort through those. And the coolest mushroom I found this year was a type of truffle that was growing underneath a cordyceps. It was a black cordyceps that has this like gold spindle that comes off of it. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is going to have a truffle under it. And my girlfriend was talking to me, and I was like, be quiet. I got to dig under here.
Silence.
Serious.
Silence, the truffles are calling.
Yeah, and it's not even an edible truffle. It's like edible to squirrels. But it was just cool to draw deeper connections around this mushroom indicates that this truffle is there. So that felt like a deeper level of mushroom knowledge that I sort of stumbled upon this year. And it's just cool to get out in the woods with a bunch of friends and have a camp out centered around that kind of stuff. So highly recommend it.
Wow, that's cool. So that's like a known thing that cordyceps has usually that truffle under it.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't read into that at all. I'll have to look into that. Hey, Gerald. Gerald joined the chat. How's it going?
We have some super weird truffle relatives here in Colorado that aren't edible, but have some crazy smells.
Interesting.
Really?
There's one that's like kind of like smells like gasoline and soy sauce.
Delicious.
Ferment that for me.
Wow.
Gotta make it even more funky.
We found like a very like citrusy one a couple of years ago. There's a bunch of weird truffle relatives here.
That's so cool.
That's a world I have not gotten into yet at all. But definitely one I want to learn about. Because I mean, I think we have some where the best truffles are like in Oregon, right? Like Washington, Oregon.
Yeah, I think typically Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
Or parts of Europe.
There's some native ones out here in the Appalachians as well, but I have yet to find them. People use special truffle dogs to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want one of those.
Yeah.
Are they on
Just a mushroom dog?
Are they on conifer out there, or are they on deciduous?
Not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're hoping to get our next dog to be a big mushroom hunter.
Yep. Or one that just doesn't eat the mushrooms right away. I've tried our dog waffles, and I'm worried about setting him free for mushrooms because he's just going to gobble and it's going to be a mess.
Just a wave of destruction.
Yeah, I think he would immediately
like you let a herd of elk in front of you.
Yeah, he'd think it's a toy.
Well, he'd want to bring them back to you is the problem.
Because we train him for birds.
And then in doing that, he's either slobbering on them, eating them right away because he's a lab, and they just like once in the mouth, it's gone.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah. Or it would just be destroyed beyond edibility.
So Eric was asking if any of us have been truffle foraging and how someone would get into it, but I am not the guy to ask for that, sadly.
That was my one and only.
Yeah, find someone who offers like an experience, or make friends with someone who's got a dog.
Yeah, or a pig, right? Some people use pigs.
Yeah. Dogs are more traditional nowadays, but pigs are like the old school way.
Yeah, and then you can eat the pig at one point, you know.
Aw.
With the truffle.
Exactly.
It's less frowned upon to eat your truffle pig than it is to eat your truffle dog, for sure.
Yeah.
So be careful if you ever go mushroom hunting with Poldi. He's sizing you up.
Could be. So for me personally, I think the biggest win this year was finding more hedgehog mushroom spots.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like we had one that's been pretty good, but now we have like 3 areas that, you know, we can get them from. And I actually have a slide for that.
We had a whole like hedgehog meal this year.
Yeah, like
which was sick.
Instead of like a
hedgehog, you know.
Yeah, and that some of you guys can see. I've been trying to figure out what exact species we have out here. Orion, you might know more.
It's unclear.
Yeah, okay, that's where I kind of ended it, because like a lot of sources say the Hytnum reperendum, I think is how you pronounce it. But then that's like, now they're saying it rependum. Yeah, now they're saying that's like more to just a European variety. Then they have one like Neorependum, might be the one out here, but they're all very big, or most of them are very big, as you can tell in the pictures here. Great beginner mushroom to get into for anyone that is just listening right now and trying to get into mushroom foraging. Highly recommend it, because I mean, there's no real poisonous or dangerous lookalikes, and they have these.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to jump in, but
no toxic toothed mushrooms.
that's right. There's like the hawkswing, right? That's what it's called. That kind of looks maybe like it, that you could confuse it with. But even those have these scales on the top. Just an awesome mushroom to find because they're cousins of chanterelles, and they, in my opinion, taste better than chanterelles. I don't know what you guys think, but I think they're better. Yeah.
Do you get the terrestrial polypores up there, albatrellus?
I'm not sure. I need to see a picture, I guess.
If you look up albatrellus confluens, the fused polypore, those can look similar, but they have pores instead of teeth.
Okay, they kind of do. Oh yeah.
They're also
those,
edible. They're
Sheep's
also
head.
edible.
I think I call them sheep's.
Sheep's are albatrellus ovinus.
Okay.
Species. Yeah.
Let me just pull this up for people to look at quick. So like this kind of. This is from Michael Kuo.
Yep. So they can look similar, but they have pores instead of teeth on the underside.
Yeah, that's good to note. Definitely a great mushroom to get into. So tasty. And then I think for me, what about you, Lindy? What was your?
Mine would probably be the same.
The mushroom,
Yeah.
the hedgehogs,
And the wine.
this
Wine's
one.
a big one. Yeah.
Hedgehogs and wine.
Yeah. Just don't eat them together.
we weren't sure about the rhubarb and then making wine without cooking it and all, but it worked out great. We're not dead. That oxalic acid hasn't gotten to us.
Yeah, I'm sure the fermentation process removes some of it.
Yeah. And it's
probably.
nice because we mixed in the spruce tip, and you can like the up front is rhubarb and then it's spruce tip. So it's like two total flavors in one glass of wine. So it's really nice.
Yeah, the spruce tips definitely add a good, like, little interesting astringency almost to it. It's really good. I think the other big win for me this year was finally finding a milkweed patch out here that's not next to the road. It's like a plant I'm still kind of new to. I used to like kind of find them in Wisconsin all the time when I lived there, but out here we have that showy milkweed, and it's just been a struggle finding them not right next to the road. And then actually the spot where we got engaged in this year, like we walk up to this area and it's just a field of milkweed. And I'm like,
Poldi's
no way.
like getting ready to propose, and we walk into this field. He's like, "Oh, there's milkweed everywhere. There's milkweed." And I'm like, "Do you want to get some? We can harvest some right now." And he's like, "Well, let's go over here first." Proposes, and then on the way out.
Yeah.
We'll get some later. I'm not that
I was
excited,
like-
actually.
I was like, that's so weird. He doesn't want to harvest these right now. What's going on?
Yeah.
It's totally abnormal.
Well, I was pretty pumped to find
Should
it.
have been the sign.
Mhm.
So, Chad, what was your best find of 2025? I would like to hear that. If you did go forage, let us know.
Yeah.
So what about let's pivot to something new in foraging that you learned this year. I would say all you guys are in my world, and I would consider you all foraging veterans, but you're still learning all the time. So what's something new that you learned?
I've been pumped about honey locust this year.
Mm.
That was a fresh one for me because I've nibbled on honey locust pods over the years whenever I'd go home to visit Alabama. And have y'all ever had them before? Like you get that little feeling in the back of your throat where it's kind of uncomfortable when you nibble on them sometimes. But I found a tree in Asheville, and I think it's one of the only ones around here. They're not native to this region, but pretty close to their native range. And they are absolutely incredible. And I think certain trees don't have that astringent feeling in the back of your throat, that kind of like plant toxin feeling that some of them give you. And so this one I was just eating like raw, like lots of it after I gave it a little taste test for a couple of days. And then I made this drink out of it that was absolutely bonkers. Like just taking honey locust pods and then grinding them up in water and letting it sit overnight and then straining it. Like the simplest thing you could make. And I've been feeding it to my friends, and
That sounds funny.
yeah, I take things to people like, you want to try something weird? They're like, yeah, I guess so. And then you got to give them all the caveats. But People have been stoked on it. Only one friend has had any negative things to say about it. But have y'all ever drank Jumex before? That like Mexican juice drink? I would say it tastes extremely similar to that. It has lime notes, honey notes, of course, and then banana notes. So it has this total subtropical type of taste going on, and it's super simple to make. And people are always asking, does it have sweetener in it? It has no sweetener in it whatsoever. It's totally sweet. And there's also a way, I haven't done this yet, but there's a way of making flour from the honey locust too. I've got them dried. I just need to grind them and sift them and then work with the flour some. But I would say that was my biggest surprise plant of the year.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one I have seen in the past too, but never really explored. I think Jesse has done some stuff with it. I've heard him talk about it.
I imagine so. Yeah, it's prolific in Alabama.
I need more Bryants in Montana. Just like, hey, you want to try something weird and foraged? Yeah.
Bryan, have you eaten the beans?
The like you mean
Seeds?
the outer part? The seeds? I haven't tried the seeds yet, no. But I have a bunch.
Apparently, so I haven't done this myself, but I'm in a group chat of people that were doing it in real time. And we seem to have found out that like the cultivar that they plant in cities, you know, the thornless one, it tends to have like smaller seeds. And then those you can't eat. Like you can cook them like beans forever and then they never bean.
Interesting.
And then if you cook the thorn ones that have bigger beans, they bean. Alexis Nelson, Black Forager, most people are familiar with. She found out that the wild ones, the big bean ones, bean. And the ones we have in Minneapolis don't.
So you haven't tried them yet?
No. I like the pods though. Like I suck out. I wait till there's like a week where they get all gooey, and the goo turns kind of like almost like an orangish brown, and like I'll just slurp all the pods. pretty good. Tastes like tamarind. If you're too early, you get that I always say it's the glycosides or the alkaloids or something like that. But I'm not sure what it actually is. I know that Kentucky Coffee Tree has it even worse, and that actually tastes like straight up. How do I say it? I always tell people it tastes like getting punched in the nose. You know how you taste copper and iron?
Yeah.
Because the
Oh no, Big Locust got him.
He's gone. He'll be back. Oh, he's back.
Oh, there he
My
is.
bad, guys. I got that St. Paul, Minnesota internet. It's bad.
It's good. I haven't done anything with locust, but the only locust we have, or honey locust we have in Colorado, are all the big cultivars, the thornless ones. Although sometimes the ones around the city are thorny. So maybe I'll try one of the thorny ones I find. I think they're the same cultivar, though. They just have the thorn genetics slip through the cracks.
Yeah, definitely a plan to explore for me as well. I don't know. I got to see if we have them in Montana. If it's probably like a cultivar they planted in the city or something.
I don't think I'll be slurping any goo out of the bean pods, so.
Yeah.
Slurp it at least twice.
Sounds fun.
Maybe with you if I show up and you at the right time of year.
We could Lady and the Tramp a pod. Yeah.
So awesome.
It could be a whole day of just like sitting like the Romans, slurping pods, drinking wine. It's like the Midwest oyster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Orion? What was your?
I had to think hard about this one. There's two things that came to mind. At the Midwest Wild Harvest Festival, I took a bug class.
Yeah.
With Bo Brown, and that was totally new. I've eaten some bugs. I ate bugs with Tim. Tim has quite the collection. Speaking of doing strange food experiments with Tim,
that's the channel right there.
Food experiments with Tim.
All foraging related. Yeah.
He essentially in that class, it was like every bug is edible. You just got to cook it. And so like he just sent us out for 2 hours to collect every single bug we found, and then they like picked all the legs and wings and heads off and cooked them all. But I was hungry for real food, and it took a little too long, so I left before we didn't eat it. Fortunately or unfortunately, but there are some people that were stoked about it in the class, like just absolutely going feral, like picking apart tomato worms and pulling the legs off of grasshoppers and
I love it.
all sorts of crazy stuff.
It's an interesting world. I think, yeah, Tim, you've done a lot of bugs, and Bryan, you've done some bug eating, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just share your kind of what you've learned, or kind of what some highlights around that.
Oh, go ahead, Tim.
Oh, shit. Okay. My biggest takeaway from them is that people aren't ready for it yet. Even though eating bugs is, like centuries old, it's in almost every, major religious text. People aren't really ready for it. So you get a lot of hate comments from it. That being said, in my truck, in my center console, I have a big gallon bag of locusts that are dried that I eat as my like on the go snack. But I can't tell anybody about it except here, of course. So
now everyone knows.
I imagine they're not in a bag. You just dump the bag in your center console. You just open it up and there's locusts in there.
Excellent. That's a good idea.
A cop pulls you over and you just reach in and like
gotta sort through the bugs.
Draws a gun immediately on you.
Yeah, you got to go for the locust really fast to give it to the cop because you don't want him to wait at all.
Yeah. Would you have some? Would you like to have some locust?
If
you're so confused.
Oh man.
Got some different flavors.
That was my major experience with bugs too. Was the locust of this year? It was absolutely insane how many there were.
Was that this year?
It was this past spring. Like trillions of them. But yeah, they were good, and I was feeding them to people like crazy. And some people are ready for them here. Some very select crowd. I was surprised who I got to eat them, but I made a YouTube video about it and got candid reactions. And people were overall pretty stoked. I mean, that shrimp flavor is incredible.
I think I'd be more open to an organized approach instead of like go out and pick every single capture every single bug you find, and we're going to cook them all together and eat them like a big pot of crunchy, squishy bug.
Like a stew.
This one is edible. Let's go figure it out. See how it tastes. This one is edible. Like you do with foraging. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's what was like pump the brakes a little bit here.
I really don't know much about it, but from what I understand, like I remember watching a Chef's Table, a Netflix episode, and they were taking these ants into Amazon and like creating a sauce out of it. They were saying it tastes like a lemon and cool. Like I'm like, man, that could be interesting. It's a whole nother layer of flavor.
I mean, mosquitoes would be pretty protein packed. But I don't know if that would count as like kind of cannibalism.
Well, Lindey showed me this one video of
you're eating things that are eating you.
Yeah.
It's definitely not cannibalism.
Yeah. So
I remember
ticks and leeches.
Leeches
aren't bugs, but
or maggots, maggot pie.
Well, maggots are Tim's eating maggots. Right?
I can't actually do the squishy stuff.
Okay.
I eat a lot of bugs, but only the crunchy stuff, really.
You could fry them.
You could. Have you guys seen that YouTube channel? It's called Horror Asian Cuisine.
No.
But I will now.
You guys gotta check it out if you want to see.
I'm gonna write it down.
People eating bugs and a lot of other stuff. They do it kind of like clickbaity, but actually super cool what they're doing. So check it out. You guys won't regret it, or you will. You probably will regret it, but
we wrote it down. So we'll have to check it out later today.
The one bug I would say, if we can stay on bugs for one more minute.
Yeah, totally.
That would be accessible for people who are listening, would be the acorn weevil and the chestnut weevil, like Herculeos. I think those are a good intro bug. They're
good
small,
little snack.
fatty. I don't like eating them raw, but lightly roasted in a pan on top of acorn pancakes, life-changing.
Do you guys ever do like flies or like horse flies or anything? So we got a lot of those. No.
No.
Those are the
No,
only
right.
thing that I'm like, oh, we've got a lot of flies.
So what you're saying is when people get their acorns, you like to get a few that have that weevil that most people leave in the woods. You like to grab a few of those, put them in a jar or something until they
Not
come
on
out.
purpose. You're just gonna collect some with your acorns no matter what. You don't have to try for it. But some
Okay.
trees will have a lot of them, and some trees will have hardly any. But they're gonna come out. You're not gonna know that they're in there. They're gonna come out when you bring them into your house. I'm gonna probably have
Yeah.
hundreds of them from this Hall of Acorn.
Pretty cool
Huh.
roommates, you know.
Eric
yeah.
says
They're edible roommates.
Eric says black soldier fly larvae eat everything. Lots of potential.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the main economic bugs that's being grown right now. Or
Really?
what do you call it? No, they're on a ranch. You like have a bug ranch.
Farm.
Is it
A
farming?
ranch? Ranch sounds better.
Yeah,
Bug ranch?
fly
It's
ranching.
like
Yeah,
on,
bug
on the
ranching.
pasture. Yeah.
Yeah, this is big time. That's like a huge industry.
It's like a sky
USDA
ranch.
Prime. Yeah. So Mike was asking, do worms really taste like bacon? I don't know.
Not the one I had. Like, I'll avoid worms, like, because when you dry them, they get all leathery and they honestly taste like dirt. However, if you broaden the definition of worm, I love what Bryan's saying about the larva. So imagine an acorn weevil larva, but like make it that big, and that is a sago palm weevil larva. And they taste like, I don't know how to say this any other way. They taste like whipped cream, coconut, and like chicken, all mixed together.
I can confirm. Tim shared.
Yeah, Orion's face when he ate it.
It's like,
You could see it,
huh?
like the different flavors happening to somebody when they eat it.
And where do
pretty
you get these from? A palm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get them from a palm. They grow them in. I believe what they do is they grow a palm oil plantation, and some of the palms they don't harvest or something, and then the second year that they're growing, they get all full of larvae, and then they cut them down, and then you chop out the larva. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Really cool videos of them doing it,
You order them from the internet.
and you can order them from Thailand.
Sounds delicious.
Nice.
See, that's the only thing with bugs that has kept me kind of from stepping into it is really the parasite thing. I think I don't know how many people think about that, but like that's a real concern, right? Like there could be some
That was a
parasite.
big question in the class that I took at the
Really?
Harvest Festival. And Bo was like, as long as you cook it, it's fine.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, you have that with freshwater fish.
Or you
Same thing.
eat one that eats the parasite that you ate, and then you've got like a
Take your,
active
take
bug
your wormwood and
ecosystem.
black walnut tincture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cancels out.
I'm like all these cocktail ideas are popping into my head, even though I don't drink that much. But
For bugs?
yeah, bugs and wormwood and all sorts of things.
Okay.
Hey, that would be cool. You bring out like
Sago.
bring out one of these, and there's just a bunch of bugs swimming in it. Like we do on Christmas, we've been doing a family tradition. Yeah. Family tradition where we were like doing a cocktail contest every Christmas.
It's a fun
for the
way to
family.
loosen up.
That's what we're doing next year. We're gonna win.
You did get some of those big palm grubs and like muddle them in the bottom and make like a coconut
Oh, yeah.
white Russian or something with.
Honestly, yeah. That could be super interesting.
The tequila worm is what Mike says. Yes,
Mm.
I think my Uncle Brian's the only one that would drink it.
love it.
Yeah.
He's the one that lived in Japan. He'd be all about it.
He'd
Or
be
you
so
just don't
stoked.
tell them. You hide it in there. You tell them after.
Yeah. Well, we always do like backstory behind the drink of like, oh, I hiked 15 miles uphill, and it's just some super extravagant story. So we have
Yeah.
to put it in
I
there.
You just have to
I want-
say you don't tell the story after this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first year we did it, I won because I told them the whole story of how in Wisconsin I walked a mile into the woods and tapped birch trees to get the birch sap, and then fermented that into mead with honey. And like
It took 3
You know,
years.
my marketer came out and like I told the whole story. And this year they were like, what did they say? Like no more storytelling because there was too many
Last year it was unfair.
sympathy points for Poldi, So no more storytelling allowed. Anyway, Chat, don't forget, ask your questions. We'll try to answer as much as we can. But I'm curious which species of plants or mushrooms caught you guys off guard or surprised you the most this season.
Not for its flavor or anything like that, but just its prevalence. Once I started paying attention to it, wild caraway is everywhere in Colorado, and it's invasive and like a kind of a problem plant.
So
But it's
carrot family, right?
Yeah, it's all over. Like all of our mountain trails have it.
So I need to pay attention to that one because I love caraway.
Yeah. The leaves are very distinct. It's got like, kind of looks like a carrot leaf, but they're more upright, and at the petiole where the leaves meet, the leaflets meet, they like cross in an X.
Do you know the scientific name? I'll try to pull it up.
Carum carvi.
Carum carvi.
That's what it is.
Orion is literally the goat with all the scientific names. I don't know how you keep them on your head.
Special brain. 3 years of Latin at private school in middle school, and then a brain that loves that sort of thing.
I'm like, I gotta create some note cards and pound these into my head, and you just.
I'll need if I meet you, I'll need your name a couple times, but when I meet a plant, it usually sticks pretty quickly.
Superpower for sure.
Maybe you should just give people scientific names, and then that way you see them and you like tell them what their scientific name is, and that's what they go by now.
They like to call me Maximus.
Yeah, just rename them as a Latin name.
Yeah, that one. See that the second row on the left.
This one.
Yeah. See how they make an X at the bottom where they meet.
Yeah. Here.
Yep. And they grow very upright. It's like very distinctive, but they do kind of look like a smaller poison hemlock. So
yeah, that looks like something we have.
I probably have it too. It's pretty invasive across the West.
Invasive? Actually invasive?
Actually invasive. Yeah.
Oh, so where's it coming from? Do you know?
I'm gonna guess Eurasia.
Yeah, Germany. I mean, where I'm from in Germany, it's like caraway is a big spice, and we make actually right in my like area, we make a bread that's kind of like elongated bread, and it's got big chunks of salt and caraway on top, and it's called a Brieke, and
sounds good.
So my stepdad, actually, Orion, when you were in my house, we might have had that one. I can't remember if that was one of the ones.
I don't remember.
We had so much good food. It was just like a whirlwind of delicious food.
It was.
I don't remember anything. I mean, I remember it all, but I don't remember the specifics. Caraway is indeed from Europe, North Africa, and Western Asia.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I'll have to look for that one. And you can use it the same, like you dry the spice, everything.
Mm-hmm. That's the same plant.
Super cool. What about you guys, Tim, Bryan? What caught you off guard or surprised you the most this season?
I got something.
Yeah, what is it?
I kind of later in the year, I got into eating wood. And this is a direct byproduct of hanging out with Sam Thayer too much or just enough.
We're going to clip just that.
Yeah, this is exactly where I thought that was.
I was waiting for more. It just was wood, period.
So
I got really into eating wood.
Yeah, Sam was telling me that he eats a lot of sumac wood and twigs and stuff. And I was like, sounds delicious. I was like the early spring growth. He said, no, that's good too. But I actually just eat the wood, like the fully eat the wood. He goes straight beaver mode on it. And I was like, interesting. I'm going to try that. But what I actually found before I ran into a sumac was a European smoke bush.
Okay.
It's like Catinus cogyria or something like that. I don't know. But it's related to sumac and mangoes and cashews. And so it smells exactly like mango skin. And it's all like thick and resiny too. So I just started eating all of it. Like I just started stripping the bark and chewing on the twigs like it was the end of a popsicle. And yeah, it's delicious. So eating wood is fun and good.
Caution advised for
Nice.
severe poison ivy allergies.
Yeah.
That's a thumbnail
Those
right
are all
there.
in the same family.
Even
So
though it's sounding good.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
That seems like a prank gone awry, where he's like, "Yeah, I really enjoy eating trees," and you're just out there nibbling on trees, and he's never done it before.
Yeah. If anybody other than Sam had told me that, I would have thought that. But because
Yeah.
Sam told me, I was like, oh yeah, he for sure has done this 1,000 times already.
Yeah.
So I got to jump in. Interestingly enough, he had never tried. He had never tried European smoke bush before. So you guys, this is your in. You know, you missed Bitcoin, you missed that silver pump or whatever. You're in on the ground level right now of European smoke bush bark.
I'm
To
ready
the
to
moon.
invest.
To the moon.
Yeah, bump it.
So can you swallow the wood?
Straight
Or-
up eat it, yeah, for sure. Just like
Wow.
pretend you're a deer on winter browse, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're like laying in a meadow,
Well, so you can do that.
just
I know you can
chowing
do it
on
with
some
pine, the cambium layer of pine. I've been wanting to do that. I've been doing some research into it in the past, and yeah, the Native American, there was the big food source during some parts of the year. On certain years, they would take the cut sheets out of the pine cambium, and in like Sweden and those countries too, they would like grind it into a bread, which sounds really interesting. But I guess some people were, from just reading in forums, they were saying it your gut really needs to adjust to it.
Yeah, I don't think you want to eat too much. I
Yeah.
watched I think it was Alone, and this guy, his whole strategy was to go out and like eat trees. And so for 2 weeks he just ate tree and had like a massive impacted gut because he ate nothing but tree bark. And
Like
then
tree. Yeah,
Uh,
you gotta definitely like do the tree in moderation for sure.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Tree nibbling, not tree feasting.
So Christina was asking me if they can find caraway also in Wisconsin.
I think it is around in the Midwest, but it's not as common as it is in Colorado.
Okay. Shout out mom, by the way.
Yeah, I just pulled up iNaturalist to look at if there are any like documented instances of it in Wisconsin, and there's a couple. There's quite a few in northern Minnesota, like along Superior. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some in Wisconsin. You could probably also easily grow it.
Okay. Good to know. Mike says ancient texts suggest eating saplings was very prominent for people long ago.
I'll pull up the next
That's
one.
that's like a headline right there. Ancient texts suggest. Just don't do the raw slugs, he says. I would agree. That's
That'd be
my one
Poldi's
phobia.
favorite.
I hate. So growing up in Germany, we had these like 6-8 inch red slugs and leopard slugs, and I think I could just kind of vaguely remember putting one in my mouth and trying to
Oh no!
ever since then, me and slugs are not friends at all.
It's a formative experience.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Well, I would say for me, the one species that really surprised me the most this year was American Bistort. Have you guys messed with that one at all?
Mhm.
A little bit.
So I guess it's like Bistorta bistortoides, if I got that right. And there's also some, it used to be called Polygonum bistortoides. And it surprised me the most because I just didn't realize how abundant it was out here. We took a foraging class with Tom Elpel in June, Lindey and I, which was super awesome. Highly recommended to anyone. And that was one of the plants we got to dig up, and it was literally everywhere in these pasture lands. Let me see if I can pull up that pic.
We have a lot in the high elevations in Colorado.
Yeah.
So good.
And I guess there's a bunch of different species, but we were just digging up a ton of these. A lot of the roots. You can see the roots on the right here on the image.
It was really cool. We did like a whole gather and then cook like community meal. at the class. Super, super fun.
Yeah. I'm hearing a background, like one second, let me reduce. I'm hearing an echo somewhere, very faintly. You guys hearing a faint echo?
I'm not.
Might be my mic. I'm just going to turn to reduce mic.
Like a voice echo?
Yeah.
I don't hear
I
it.
don't know where it's coming from. It's very light. It's probably my mic. But anyway,
Call
I
it
was looking-
distortion.
distortion. Oh, that's epic. I was looking into this a bit, and I took a few notes, and I guess the word like bistort, and I think Orion, and I think Tim, you're also kind of like a scientific name nerd a little bit, but I guess it means like bis means twice, and tortoise means twisted, and supposedly it kind of refers to like the shape of the rhizome, so the root, and it kind of like is shaped like an S. And I have some pictures that I took this year where you can really tell that is the case. And the flavor is like online. A lot of people say raw. It's really astringent, and it's like you gotta boil it and bake it. Supposedly, is the best way to eat it. But the roots were good. They weren't like out of this world good, but it seems like a really good starchy carb source to find in abundance out here. What we did at the class, they kind of left it up to me to cook them. So I cooked them in a skillet, browned them up, and then we threw them into a pot that had elk stew already, and just kind of cooked them in the elk stew until soft, and it was really good. I did look into it, and I guess the indigenous people did use them for the roots specifically and boiled those. So it said, I found an article that was talking about them boiling them with meat. The Cherokee would do that, boiling them with meat, and then use them as a poultice. Also, the leaves, I think, that was kind of applied to sores and boils by the Miwok. Tim, I know you're kind of the indigenous anthropology nerd. Is that the way to say it? Miwok?
I'm not sure what you're looking at.
No. Miwok is kind of a Native American tribe name.
I would say Miwok, but I'm not sure who that might not be an Ojibwe word. That might be something else.
It sounds a lot better than what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever use PF plansforafuture.org? Do you guys like that website at all?
I've looked at it before, yeah.
I dabble in there. Did they have it at an edibility rating on 3? Which 3 out of 5.
5, okay.
Out of 5, yeah. Looks like here I'm gonna pull this up quick for distribution. Looks like it's definitely more something in the western US.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that map, My Naturalist?
No.
Yeah. So sorry, Tim, and sorry.
Lots of it in Colorado, or at least lots of iNaturalist users in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing with iNaturalist. It's kind of also dependent on who's using it and whatnot. So that was one for me. What about you, Lindey?
Probably the Lotus.
Lotus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I mean, we've already talked about it, but
That was really good
Very
indeed.
good, yeah.
the fact that I can make a bread that tastes good from nature, that makes me happy.
Bread for the win.
Yeah.
So moving on, like another question I had was there a belief about foraging you held that this season, like in 2025, that kind of got challenged? Something you really had to reconsider.
Real quick, Bryan, did we get yours?
Oh, did we not?
I was nerding out with you guys. I didn't
Sorry.
really. I finally kind of came up with something. I would say deer fat is probably the one thing that's kind of still surprising me. I finally got around to rendering some this fall, and I'm sure a lot of you have tried deer fat or heard about it being really. It tastes kind of like chapstick, or it kind of has a texture of chapstick in your mouth, and so a lot of people don't like it. But it's been surprising me once I've rendered it down and gotten the water out. It's really good. And I got that from watching Homegrown Hand Gathered, their Instagram, and they were like cooking potatoes in it. And I was asking them, like, is it good? And they're like, yeah, it's incredible. And so yeah, I've been using it for like oiling leather and oiling wood, but then also like frying stuff in it. And for some reason, once the water's rendered out really well, it tastes amazing, and it doesn't really have that waxy feeling. Like there'll be a little bit of wax on my lips, which is nice. It's like free chapstick basically.
Yeah.
But it doesn't totally do the waxy thing inside of my mouth. So that's been an incredible discovery because I'm always looking for those wild fat sources. And like our deer aren't super fatty out here, so it's still kind of like a delicacy to me. But there's so much potential. And even like deer fat when it's cooked in a roast, a lot of people will be offended by that texture in their mouth, but like I'll just chew on it like it's bubble gum. And I think it's great stuff. I don't know. What do y'all think about it?
I'm happy you brought that up because I'm also one of those people who really stands by deer fat being a really good fat source. Now, I do have to say a lot of my experience comes from venison that was harvested in Wisconsin. So there is some like there's acorns, there's corn, you know, they're definitely like out here in Montana when they get into the sagebrush. It does have a different flavor. It's not quite as tasty. But I've had elk.
It's not terribly off-putting.
Yeah, I think it's really just like what you used to. Like if you open your mind and palate to it.
Yeah.
I think it's something kind of like a flavor and texture we've kind of lost as a culture. You know, especially that waxiness that you're talking about. That's the stearic acid in there. It's the same stuff that's in chocolate, like a dark chocolate. You'll get the stearic acid. It does the same thing. It's actually super, super healthy saturated fat. A lot like actually there's studies around stearic acid being really good for burning fat. So eating fat to burn fat kind of dealio. And I've rendered it in Wisconsin a bunch. I've added just venison grind with venison fat, and it was some of the best ground meat I've ever had. It was like almost sweet. And even here in Montana, when we shoot elk, we try to always leave some of the fat bits on. I'm not one for cutting all the gristle and fat and tendons off.
Yeah, especially like if you're doing burger and stuff like that, we just mix everything in together. If it's clean fat, it's good fat.
You need a good grinder to get it going, but like it's way more nutritious than just a straight up meat, you know, especially like the gristle and like some of the tendons. They'll give you all that collagen, and it's all stuff that we've really lost in our diet for the most part. So I encourage people at least testing it out and seeing if they like it.
You can also use it in like pie crusts and stuff like that, where you kind of want to have that mouthfeel because it gives you that added layer of like, you know, flaky pie crust feel. If that makes sense.
I rendered 2.5 quarts of deer fat off of mostly the whitetail I killed in Nebraska this year, but also my mule deer in Colorado. So I was planning on making soap with some of it, but I was also planning on experimenting. So I'm gonna try
soaps and lotions are great.
Yeah.
I always heard people. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I always heard people talk about deer fat like it tasted gross or something like that. And then somebody gave me a deer last year, and it's my first one I ever processed. And I didn't notice anything bad about it. It did have like a different texture. Like I did notice that kind of coated my mouth differently, but I mean, everything does. I like something that draws me to foraging and then hunting and fishing is like the food is itself. You know, I think if you're eating the standard American diet, you just have this hodgepodge of, you know, wheat, soy, corn, and then like whatever salt and sugar was mixed in. And then even if you have beef, it's just like factory beef, you know, it's very cookie cutter. I recently ventured into grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Total game changer. That ground beef tastes almost like dessert itself. It has a sweetness that I had never tasted out of beef before. I wouldn't even think they were the same thing if you put them side by side, you know, store-bought versus grass-fed, grass-finished. So like when deer is coating my mouth a little bit, I like that. I like how a beaver or a muskrat tastes. I like a wild boar. You know, everyone told me that wild boar was going to be terrible. Wild boar is incredible.
I've heard that so many times, and it's like I don't really like beef.
the board does depend a bit on like
Unpopular
if you
opinion.
have if you have like a board that's rutting. I've had some of those in Germany that have a strong, you know, what would you call it? Like a strong flavor. But yeah, for the most part, I've only had great wild boar. And I think a lot of all that has to do with just how people process the animal.
Yeah.
And like,
If it's hanging in your garage for 2 weeks and then you put all the fat in there, it's probably going to be a little
oxidized.
funky.
Dry aged.
Yeah, you're going to get some extra flavor.
Meat will be good, but the fat will be a little weird.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing with like when people do say like grass-fed, even beef tastes sweet. I think it has to do with how long it's been frozen and even maybe thawed and frozen. I would agree that I think it tastes awesome, but yeah, again, I think it goes back to just kind of we've been so trained to know these flavors from the meat we get from the grocery store, the plants, that people are just, our taste buds just aren't adjusted to it anymore.
I'm the opposite now because we eat so much wild game that like when I eat beef, it's like it smells different than
It
chemical
weird.
to me.
It's
Like
it's like day old iron.
yeah,
it's
to
got
me.
a smell like a. We had some really good beef steaks. But like pulling them out and salting them before I cooked them, it was like just like an interesting smell.
Say that again, Orion. That you were like, I don't know if it was just me, but your mic like cut out for a second.
Oh, did it cut out?
Yeah.
Just the smell that like beef steaks can have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if I almost never get meat at the store anymore, but like there's been times where I got it and it's like, man, it's just kind of smells chemically almost.
It almost smells like freezer burn
Yeah.
in some ways. Like if you get a deer or elk roast and it's got just a little bit of freezer burn on the outside and it's like a little off, that's what store-bought like fresh meat.
Well, they'll do that to
smells
their
like.
grind. I think they add like vitamin C or something they add to it to make it nice and bright and red, especially with ground meat. Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw this one comment here from Mike. He said,
But-
wait, that was not the one. He said, I know someone that got a brain parasite from raw slugs. See, this is why I don't. He was unconscious for days after eating one on a drunken bed tonight. Jesus Christ.
There's a rugby player in Australia that happened to as well, which
There's
I expected from my fellow rugby players.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I haven't done that, but we don't really have that many slugs here.
3D printing, maybe. I guess so. I've never 3D printed everything.
Those cows were on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the fat was a good one. Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up, Ryan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, was there like going back to the belief? Was there like a belief that got challenged this season foraging wise for you guys? I have one. If I can go first, if you want to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, it was definitely the carrot family plants are not worth messing with. I don't know. In the past, I've always just been like, poison hemlock, water hemlock, like, yeah, there's like wild carrot and stuff, but I don't really need to mess with it. But because of Orion here, our podcast, I think it was the year before even we did the podcast on cow parsnip. And this year I really dove into that one. And I was really surprised at how good it was. Getting the cow parsnip buds, and also later we got to try the seeds. And yeah, it definitely just opened my eyes to, okay, I should probably dabble with that family a bit more, even though there are some of the most deadly poisonous plants in that family. So that one kind of challenged me a bit, or just made me think different about it.
Yeah, there's some great carrot family plants out there. Just takes a little caution.
Maxilia said, learn your botany, dude. The carrot family. Hey, you're right. You're right.
Speaking the truth.
We eat a lot of them commercially.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Anything that challenged your beliefs?
I could speak, and it's a little bit off the beaten path, but it might be coming to everybody sooner than you'd hope. In Minnesota, if you live in Minnesota, you probably heard that we've been dealing with the DNR trying to, restrict foraging further and perhaps making it, somewhat illegal in certain places, more so than it already is. And this whole process, it came to a head this year. We got a task force created and funded by the state legislature, and it has almost run its course. It's almost done and going to present its findings. I just thought the whole process was very, it was interesting. It was a little bit deflating. Like, you kind of think things are more complicated than they are until you get involved. And then you're just like, man, people really have no idea what they're doing. But the cool takeaway is you can actually just get together with a couple of your friends and like make an organization. And now that's an organization. And then people listen to you when they wouldn't listen to you before. Like we created the Minnesota Foraging Alliance. It started with like 3 people and now it's like 80 or 100 people. And we didn't get listened to by the legislature or the DNR before. And now we get listened to because we're like, we call ourselves a group. I don't know. It's a little bit frustrating, like that is how the world is. But so my suggestion, like the thing I learned is that if you have people in your area, even if it's just in your county or your city or something like that, like honestly get coordinated in some way and call yourselves something. Even if it's like something you don't really do, just have it on the books because it looks really good if you want to go to bat for foraging and keep it legal or expand legality like we have also done this year. It just is going to help you later. It's a card that you can play that for some reason people listen to. It's just like make a group. And then like, for instance, that helped us get 3 county park systems in the Minneapolis metro area to legalize foraging. And it was fully illegal. So 3 years ago, fully illegal. And now the 3 biggest county park systems in Minnesota are all legal. How cool is that?
That's
just
super
because
cool.
we were like, hey, we're the Minnesota Foraging Alliance. Like, like back when it didn't mean anything, back when it was 3 of us. And we were just like, yeah, like we're an organization. They would ignore my emails if it was just me, but
Right.
So it was weird to learn.
That's really cool. I mean, that is a thing. And it's kind of hard to like really know what is legal and what is not. And I've tried to find information about it here in Montana, and it's like there's not really. It's yeah. But I think, do you think it's from a lack of like just people doing it in education, like in those organizations like the DNR and FWP, or like people just don't forage, they don't know?
So that would be, if you just looked at it in a snapshot right now, you could be forgiven for thinking, oh, like this is just a product of like ignorance, not in like a negative way, but just purely lacking knowledge. But it's actually, we're kind of in the end game of like 150 years of foraging being directly attacked. And people that depended on foraging of all kinds being attacked and like having foraging cut off from them. Now, like it's tempting to be like, we live in a civilized society and like, yeah, people don't really forage. And so it's not a big deal. It's like, no, everybody used to. And we're just seeing like the end game of like an attempt to eradicate the foraging culture on this continent. Luckily it failed or we wouldn't be here. But
right.
So it's ignorance now, but it started off way worse. And so, yeah, I mean, we're on the up tilt now, but it's by no means secure yet. We very much are the generation. All the people alive right now are the ones that are going to change that if we actually follow through and change it.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I haven't really dealt with or read into much of that yet. Where do you know, like, I don't know if you and your content, are you sharing a lot of that info right now, or like how can people kind of follow along with that stuff,
I'm not sharing it, but if you look up like Minnesota DNR Foraging Task Force, you can see all the meeting minutes. Actually, like you can actually like see all the meetings and all the meeting minutes and all the documents that have been posted. I can like send you that link too. I don't have it on here right now. But I can send you that to. And there's been a lot of great testimony, and there's been a lot of great documents in support of foraging that were really interesting reads. So it's worth it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of a issue that is in, you know, all the states, but I mean, it just takes one to really get it started, you know. That is crazy though. You'd think. So is this mostly like, are these like nature preservation groups, or is this like coming from like the DNR?
It's coming from the DNR. The plot thickens about what happened, and I don't want to really get into it, but I do. I mean, I do want to get into it, but I'm not going to.
We'll do a separate episode.
Yeah, we can do a separate episode.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, you know, a lot of actually the nature preservation groups have been our biggest opponents. And which is surprising to some people, but it's not really if you kind of understand the philosophy differences behind conservation and preservation. We're actually like, you know, we work together, but philosophically those two philosophies are kind of like sworn enemies. They're battling for the heart and spirit of America right now in the nature space. It's a very interesting time. Of course, I'm on the conservation side, I'm on the foraging side, but not everybody is.
Yeah. Well, all I have to say to that is like a lot of the, I personally believe, this is an opinion, but I believe that a lot of plants can thrive because we as humans actively manage them, cultivate them in the wild, you know, not quite domesticate, but we're actively focusing on ensuring that they, you know, stay alive. And
my day job is in natural resources with the Colorado State Forest Service, and without conservation, things would be a lot worse. We would have no western forests because if we let them do their own thing by preservation, they'd all burn down.
Yeah,
they'd all be killed by beetles, and a lot of that is driven by just climate change and issues with human relations to those spaces. But if we're not managing those, there's no way that, you know, pure preservation could maintain them.
And my good friend Doug Duran has some good information on that. He's based in Wisconsin. He's talked a lot about that. We've done a podcast episode with him where we go into the differences of preservation versus conservation, and that is definitely something to be aware of and learn about if you're at all, you know, an active participant in nature as a forager, hunter, fisherman, as I like to call it. You definitely got to learn about that. Differences there.
We want to live near / within them. They have to be conserved by us.
Yeah.
It continues to surprise me that, like, with a $40 hunting license, I can walk into the woods with a rifle and take 6 deer a year with very little presupposition. But in some places, it's illegal to forage. Like when I lived in California, it was totally illegal to forage. And pretty much everywhere. There was one state park or maybe 2 that would allow mushroom foraging. And those were actually some of the most biodiverse mushroom places you'd ever see, which was funny because people are like, oh, you're taking from it, it's not going to continue. And of course it does. But my biggest belief that's been challenged, or maybe even a stereotype that I've been thinking about that kind of circles into this whole conversation, is like, just the amount of land management that sort of like, I hesitate to say redneck kind of people, but I'll say it because I'm from Alabama and so I'm a part of this culture. And not saying in a derogatory way, but like people you would never think are some of the biggest conservationists and land managers ever. And the more I've gotten into deer hunting, the more I'm seeing that circle of like, the more you're managing for deer habitat, like burning. And you can burn out here very frequently, like every few years you can burn because plants grow so fast. And the connection between stewarding a healthy deer habitat and also creating all kinds of native biodiversity underneath that for humans and fauna to eat is absolutely insane. So that kind of stuff is getting me really stoked up working with more people like that you wouldn't normally think of as foragers. And also there are a lot of times spraying all kinds of chemicals too. And so that's a belief that's really being challenged inside of me, because for me, I've gone to meetings to try to get herbicide made illegal in our county. And so I'm kind of coming up on this place of like, is it okay to use herbicides sometimes for conservation purposes? I don't totally have an answer, but I'm allowing myself to look a little deeper into it as I see people who are really high level conservationists who are doing a lot of the work, using it sometimes. And for me personally, I'm kind of like, I don't want to ever touch this stuff, but I'm curious to link up with more people in that community, like these deer hunters, these land managers who are into like this more large scale conservation, and then also opening their eyes to like, this stuff is harmful and it has these effects, and we should also be talking about that, because most people are just skirting around it. But I think it's a really cool overlap that needs to be explored more in foraging, and I think you're doing that really well, Poldi, with like connecting hunters and fishermen and foragers together, because oftentimes there's some walls between that, but it seems like we're all sort of into those different realms, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I think it's super important that, I mean, it's all so connected. You know, we all have a passion for the nature and the wild food and the ecosystems. And I think you're going to be a much more successful hunter if you know about foraging, you know, and vice versa. You kind of learn what the deer are eating, you know, some of that might be something that humans can eat. And I'm sure there's similarities or crossovers there as well with like aquatic plants and fishing. Also for me, like I started kind of more as a hunter, and I think adding foraging to like my skill set was just a game changer for me, because I was out hunting and I had a bad day hunting deer, but wow, look at all these acorns I just found, you know? So, or all these mushrooms I walked across. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about being out there, really being into nature, learning about the ecosystem as a whole. And that's just going to benefit you in all three of these, you know, skill sets. And it's just going to make you just it's just going to build more respect for nature as a whole, which to me, that's where it all like kind of comes together, you know, at the end.
True.
That's why we do a lot of these things. And I think there's a lot of people who might not have this crazy conservation mindset, but they have interest in hunting, fishing, or foraging, and you're ultimately going to land there at the end, because the more you appreciate something, the more you're going to want to, you know, help carry it on for yourself and future generations. That's just how I feel, at least. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Cool deal. So I know we said like we're probably going to only do an hour and a half, but if you do have to leave, let me know. If not, I have some more topics we could get into. One of them, let's see. I have a bunch of questions here for you guys, but we'll have to pick and choose. It's been a great convo so far.
Maybe I can do one more and then I'm going to cut out.
Okay. Should we maybe talk about some food projects? I feel like that kind of brings the whole, you know, brings it back to the food, which is a big part of all of this. Yeah. So what are some of your food projects you guys experimented with this year in 2025 that really stood out? I can start again if you guys want to think about it. Let me start with and I
Give it to us, Poldi.
All right.
Yeah.
I prepared a slide again for this one. It's good to have a little visuals for people, you know. So these are my top 3 this year. We did, like I said at the beginning, like for me, this was a season of excitement because we did a lot this year, Lindey and I. And 3 of my favorites were definitely the choke cherry powder, the fermented crab apples, and the dandelion capers.
Forgot about the capers.
Yeah.
So
Which
good.
one you want to talk about one?
I would say the choke cherry powder is probably my favorite. I've tried it in sourdough bread. Delicious.
Yes.
So good. You just replace some of the flour with the choke cherry powder.
And we've actually been, I just want to interject real quick. We've been on this like trajectory of figuring out what can we add to sourdough bread to make it even more delicious. And the choke cherry powder is one. actually the first one he did was choke cherry powder and chocolate chunks.
Yeah, that's
which
really
was
good.
insane.
It was just kind of like the cherry got hidden just a little bit by the chocolate because I used baker's chocolate. So it was like no sweetness, but like lots of the chocolatey essence. And so you kind of couldn't tell what was cherry versus what was chocolate. So we did just a straight cherry one. That was great. And then I've been doing like choke cherry powder hot chocolate. So you just take hot milk and then you put the powder in there and then choke cherry hot chocolate.
Yeah.
That's super good. Yeah.
And then another one we did this year was sourdough bread with chanterelles.
And
you guys
porcini.
haven't like grind up the chanterelles into like once they're dehydrated into a powder, throw that into your dough. You get
It's
that
so good.
apricot flavor. It's real nice.
You can use kind of whatever mushroom you want. Like I did a porcini one that was really good. Like it had so much of just the flavor, the essence of chini, you know.
Essence of chini.
Yeah.
That's a shirt right there.
Yeah. So that was nice. Yeah. Super good.
Yeah. The choke cherry powder, and this actually we did like we learned from our buddy Jacob. And it's like with the pits and everything, you know, and then we have a whole video on the YouTube channel of how we made that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a very traditional indigenous way of doing it. They don't just, if anyone's gathered choke cherries and tried to pit them, you'll know that it's something you'll never do.
Again.
Because it's like, I think I got to like choke cherry number 20 and I was like, nope, this is not going to happen. So yes, you can use those cores, those pits, but you got to like dehydrate them, cook them in some way to kind of get rid of that cyanide compound that's in there. So highly recommend that. Then the fermented crab apples were an experiment because like I found a bunch of crab apples that were really bitter. And I was like, is there a way to make them less bitter? And actually Mike, who's in the chat, suggested like soaking them in water. I tried that, didn't really help. The fermenting, and this was a lacto ferment that we did, actually mellowed them out a lot, made them a lot less bitter. And they were like these salty, slightly sweet apples, slightly sour, and just something that really is great for like charcuterie. Highly recommend that. Then the dandelion capers, that's inspired by Alan Burgo, one of his blogs on this specifically. And he, that was the first year I did it. We used his recipe. There's a video on the channel as well of how we did that. And that's like an every year staple I'm going to make this year. Fun, easy to identify the dandelions, something, you know, you can eat over weeks and just like a great condiment for your meats and whatever you're making.
Yeah, we crushed those on the meatballs.
Yeah.
It was so
Try
good.
milkweed capers too.
Oh,
Really?
that's a good idea.
Also
Yeah.
very good.
And you can do this from what I understand, the capers, you can do that with any flower bud. Some just might have a different texture than others, like
Any flower bud, any even unripe like seed pod type thing.
Yeah. They're pickled basically. Yeah. So what about you guys? Anything that comes to mind? Food project?
I did not do nearly as many food projects as I normally do. I did a lot last year. I think the one bigger one that I did this year was making plum membrillo, which is like a Mexican. It's usually the membrillo traditionally is made with quince, and it's like a thick jam that they slice and serve with cheese. And so I did it with wild plum. You just make like jam or jelly, but you cook it down further until it's like really thick, and then you can put it in like a mold.
Cool. Have you ever tried umeboshi to make umeboshi?
I've had umeboshi, but I've never made them with
I
wild
really
plum.
want to try it at some point.
I've seen that before. I'd like to try that too. I like umeboshi.
I
like
love
sour
umeboshi.
stuff.
That on corn with butter. Dude, unbelievable.
I could see that.
It's so good.
Sounds good.
I know, Bryan, you're always experimenting. I watch your stuff.
I am. Yeah. If you can think of anything, let me know. The main thing that's coming to mind right now is vinegars. My brain
Vinegars.
is
That was
my travel.
Vinegars was interesting.
Vinegars is cool.
You tried like different types of it, like different processes of making vinegar, right?
Yeah. I think I finally got it dialed in. Labeling stuff is so important. But yeah, the pawpaw vinegar is really good this year. I'm gonna make some more of that, and just apple cider vinegar too. Like a great way to use some apple cores and scraps. And I feel like I got that pretty dialed in too. Got all the mothers floating in there, um, and then I did persimmon vinegar last year, and that was good American persimmon. I didn't get to do that one again this year. Our persimmons weren't super productive. Oh, and then I'm interested in trying Tim's recipe for the acorn cookies. Lorenzo was recommending it, and I'm always looking for a more perfect acorn cookie. So if he says it's good, I believe it.
Lorenzo's big fix for that recipe that made it better was freezing the dough first.
That's what he said. Yeah,
Man, cut it a little bit thicker. He gets like some real nice cookies. Otherwise, it's more of like a tuile, which is like a thin French cookie. Still really good, but.
And that's Lorenzo Cooks on YouTube and Instagram. Good stuff. Good content.
For sure.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just jump in with hickory nuts. You know, I was going to say it. Hate to do it to you guys. Yeah, bitter hickories, another year. It's my second year of pressing them for oil at Sam's house again with his hickory nut press. I found out there's less than 20 people outside of China that do this.
Really?
Yeah. And that's giving room for like people we don't know about. There's our group, and then there's you guys know Jed Arkles?
Yep.
So he is part of a group that is south of us. I want to say it's in like Illinois, Missouri area. And then there's two guys out on the East Coast, and as far as I know, those are the only people making hickory nut oil. Yeah, it's pretty wild. After taking roughly like 800 years off, hickory nut oil is back in the Eastern United States. So it's pretty cool.
Hey.
Yeah, this year I took a different tactic looking for my spots. So what I did, using my like anthropology background. Not that I learned this from them, so I'm not trying to give like stolen valor to anthropology. Like, I had to learn all this stuff outside of the degree program. Like, no credit to them. So what I did was I mapped all of the Cahokian colonies. So Cahokia was the largest city north of Mexico. It's where modern day St. Louis was built on top of it. So they had colonies all over the Eastern United States. And so I mapped all the colonies that were up by me. Hickory nuts were integral to the Cahokian diet even after corn domestication. And so I visited those colonies and looked in those areas to find hickory nut trees. And, 10 out of 10, like every time there's tons of hickory in those areas. So I'm not going to tell anybody where those areas are because you would find my spots, but I've given you the method so you can just look into Cahokia. It's a really fun read, and and if you run into me, don't pick under the same tree as me, but say hi.
Oh, we might have one.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. See, I don't get down there that far. I don't get down to Cahokia itself, but Red Wing, Minnesota, used to be the largest Cahokian colony up here. It was the largest city in the upper Midwest until probably Milwaukee or Chicago surpassed it. So pretty wild.
Yeah, man, I just wish we had more nuts. Like, and this kind of leads into, what we're looking forward to for 2026. But one of the things I'm looking forward to is pine. Like, I want to learn more about the pine nuts. I wish I could like do more acorns, more hickory, all that. But sadly, I don't have them here in Montana. But we don't even have pinyon pine like Orion does, which is really worth it. But we have like ponderosa pine, lodgepole pine, and from what I understand, the pine nuts are very, very small and very tedious, but I'm still wanting to give it a try. I feel like they just had to be a source of food for indigenous people in the past here, and I got to figure it out somehow.
Do you have limber pine?
Limber?
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard about that. I got to look that on. Write it down then.
Bigger cones, bigger seeds. I don't know anything about them, but it just came to mind when you were talking about that.
I've never heard about that one. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bryan, if you have to go, feel free to head out. But if you guys want to just kind of quickly mention what you're looking forward to for 2026, plans you have foraging wise, that'd be awesome.
I'll jump in and then I'll cut out. And I just want to say first, appreciate you guys. It's been really inspiring. And what I'm mostly looking forward to is guerrilla planting fruit trees around town, guerrilla grafting, and doing this stuff with more people. And I love that idea of getting a name on something, Tim, that you were sharing, and just doing more community organizing type stuff like that. That just feels really important.
Guerrilla grafters. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Would be
Oh, yeah.
such a sick name.
I already got this stuff laid out. That's a great one. That could be a subgroup. but yeah, just planting stuff and like just thinking about all these trees, like, you know, mentioning Koki and stuff. People planted these things for us to be able to enjoy. So who's going to plant the next generation of stuff for people to enjoy? So that's what's pumping me up right now. Planting oaks, being able to watch those oaks produce acorns within my lifetime. So we got to live a good, long, healthy life. But yeah, that's what I'm pumped about this coming year.
When you're planting the trees, are you doing like a root hormone, or what's the like abbreviated process?
The little bit of guerrilla planting I've been doing is just like open the ground up with a hori, stick it in the ground.
Okay.
And yeah, it's like bare root pawpaws, persimmons. That's the main stuff right now.
Okay.
But,
and
yeah,
they've been they take fairly well?
I haven't gone and checked back on the pawpaws that we planted in the spring, but I suspect that some of them did.
Okay.
The guerrilla grafts did really, really well.
I bet they would in that sort of climate. If we tried that out here, it wouldn't go quite as well.
That'd be
Yeah.
rough. Yeah. But cool. Thank you guys so
That's
much.
dope.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah. Wish me luck.
Appreciate you.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Go get that deer.
All right.
Number 4.
Thanks, you guys. Happy New Year.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
I think we'll stick on this topic of like what you're looking for 2026, and we'll end it out from there, guys. So
I'm just
I can
looking
go
forward to
just-
eating more wood, man. Like,
more wood.
I mean, this is blowing the top off. I mean, I love cinnamon. I mean, I love sumac and, you know, woody canes like the rubus, you know, blackberries and raspberries and stuff. So the fact that, I mean, I'm kind of shook all over again. Okay. I didn't have anybody to tell this to, like, other than Sam, who was like, I know. There's so much delicious wood out there. Like, guys, beavers aren't stupid. They're a little rat that is doing hydroengineering, and we think they're stupid. No, they're literally so smart. Like, they're onto something. We should be eating more wood. If you've ever opened up a grouse, like their crop is full of like little woody pieces of, I don't know what's in there. I don't know. I don't know birds because they're fake. But yeah, I mean, delicious.
Yeah.
They're fake.
They're not real. Yeah.
Birds aren't real.
Are you gonna try like peeling and like drying the wood and bark like you would like cinnamon?
That's
some of those.
European smoke bush. So that specifically, I think it has potential as a spice because it is so thick and resiny. It has all that pine resin, has all that like kind of undertones of citrus a little bit. I think that could be a spice for sure.
That'd be so fun.
Excited to learn more about what you do.
Yeah.
Dinner guests
too.
coming over and
Awesome.
you're just like grating a tree over the top of their food.
You know, they used to
Yeah.
cut like bread flour with sawdust to like stretch the flour out.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Back when Scandinavians weren't like rich, back when we were thought of as like the poor people in Europe, like everyone was scamming everybody with pine bark in the flour. And now it's thought of as like kind of quaint, and people still want to make it because it's like a flavor of home. But yeah, it was like a scam.
They still do that with extra virgin olive oil today. The seed oils.
The fake food, the realm of fake food is like a total rabbit hole.
There's a whole book on it that I read. It's called.
Oh, what's it called?
I think it's called Fake Food. It's like insane. Let me look it up quick because like it's literally one of the most interesting like books I've ever read, and especially
real food, fake food.
Yeah, real food, fake food. That
that's
is a really good read.
I gotta check
It's
it out.
like really opens your mind up for like,
It
wow,
totally is.
there's another reason I need to like take control of like where I get my food from, you know, foraging, hunting, fishing. Yeah. Once you read that, you'll
Until
be
you
more
realize
about
like all the trees are fake trees and none of them are real, and you've been eating like plastic trees that have been flavored
Yeah.
by like the local organizations. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Conspiracy, of course.
This is the point of the podcast where we get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Bryan got out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Orion, what about you? For what's in
Um,
store for you for 2026?
You know,
And yes,
I don't.
mention your book. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's
there's
not-
two things that I have planned, and the rest of it I'm gonna take it as it comes. Finishing my book, which goes out to the publisher in May, and then it'll be in their hands for a year. And going to Poldi's festival in August,
Yeah.
Montana. Those are the two things I'm super excited about. And other than that, I'm gonna take it as it comes.
Heck
Got
yeah.
some trips planned, and I'd like to try to hunt in another state next year if I can swing it. I've been leaning. I kind of, my wild foods, like, they all ebb and flow. Like, I started fishing, like that was my big thing when I was younger, and then I got into mushroom hunting, and then in college I got into plants, and then after college I got into hunting, and then they've sort of ebbed and flowed like cyclically around each other. And so this year was a bigger hunting year for me. And I'm sort of like leaning back into that a little bit because it's the highest amount of food that I can get. It's like the most foods that I can source wild. I love plants and mushrooms and fishing, but hunting is like where I make my my success for wild food. You know, we probably eat 2 pounds of deer a week or something, like minimum. You know?
Yeah.
So getting a couple deer every year is a big deal for us, keeping our freezers full.
Mhm.
Same here.
So yeah, I'd like to try to hunt in another state next year if I can, and do some more exploring outside of Colorado, because I've experienced a lot of the Southern Rockies.
Mhm.
There's more
Yeah.
to learn here too, but
Well, you can come up visit us.
yeah,
It's not that different, but you know, another.
I'd like to. I would like to. Yeah,
Or
it's expensive
you
to
know,
hunt there as an out of state, but
That's true.
I'd like to do
You
it.
know what? Maybe Tim, are you at all interested in hunting? Do you hunt at all?
Yeah, I'd like to crossbow and bow hunt.
Okay. So how about this? And I know Bryan, I think we should all, in the next 5 years, we should all plan a boar hunt down in Texas. That'd be something totally different, and
Yeah.
wouldn't be a big budget, like you know, wouldn't be a big strain on the budget, and it would just be really fun, something in a totally different environment.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Poldi, I got a spot.
All
I
right,
got
see?
a spot for us
Coming
already.
together. Coming together.
Let's do this like next month.
It's coming up. Yeah, for real. February.
It is, yeah.
Is that the main hunting? I haven't even looked into it in the U.S.
Yeah,
so
I think it doesn't have a season because they're invasive as hell. But
Right.
Yeah,
think they do
because
a
I
lot
went
of
down
it right
with
now.
publicly challenged Luke Oswald and
Yeah,
Nick
yeah.
Bowers, my brother and my friend Mike, and we got like 13 of them in a day and a half. And
Were you part of them, like knifing them or spearing? Because I talked to.
oh
Luke
yeah, I speared one with
podcast.
a classic European boar spear, which is
Wow.
like a 7 foot long, huge blade. I mean, the blade was probably like that wide, and then it has those the lugs. Yeah, I mean it was huge. Yeah, Luke got one with what was it?
He threw it, right? I did a podcast with him one year. He said he like threw a spear at them. I think he said
It was a short spear, so I want to say it was like 3 feet long. I forget which country in Africa it's
or
from.
something.
No, this was like
Atlatl
straight up
is
just his hand,
Oh
because
wow.
it was coming at him, and then
Yeah.
he got it, and then I finished it off with the European boar spear. It was pretty intense. That was my
That
first
sounds
time ever
wild.
hunting.
that's
That's
crazy.
That's
That's crazy.
I was
Jumping
like,
in the
this is
deep end.
I'll be bringing a rifle when we go.
Yeah.
That's what
Wow.
I'm most comfortable with. Although I do
Yeah.
have a bow and have success with my bow.
We should all go 6-inch hunting, like just knives.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
I mean, I just know what boars can do from like having hunted them in Germany, and Man, they're nothing. They're not quite like grizzlies or black bears, but still.
If I could
they're-
have like a pair of
decent damage.
stilts and can like learn how to run on a pair of stilts, I think I'd be down.
Yeah,
Because then I'm like out of the way.
yeah. I mean, that's what they do. They'll
You know?
cut,
Just
they'll
take your
cut
stilts
off the
out.
leg.
Well, that's a different
Don't you
problem.
guys want to go out like a European king? Like,
Yeah.
Killed
just
on a
get
boar
gored
hunt.
on a boar hunt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No.
yeah.
Why not?
I would.
That's all I've ever
That'd
wanted
be
for my
the way.
life.
Shout
It's
out
more of a
Wayne.
why not situation.
Ask me again in about
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah.
Shout out Lindy's dad Wayne in the chat saying, "I'll go on a hog hunt."
All right, there we
Heck
go.
yeah, Wayne.
There's number 5.
We got the crew
Yeah.
together already. The shack is a
Yeah.
little bit rough, but we're in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna be on my stilts with like a sword. That's what I'm envisioning.
I'll bring my
So,
staff and I'll cast the spells to
Yeah.
protect you guys from
I'll-
the boars.
I'll egg them on and run towards you guys on my stilts, and they'll chase me, and then you guys can come like bombard from the sides.
I'm glad you guys are all picking the lesser methods so that I can look
Yeah.
like a really successful hunter.
Yeah.
I actually think our D&D party that we're creating right here is going to get squad wiped by this boar.
Probably.
Yeah.
We all
Somebody
end
needs
up on a
to roll.
t-shirt. It's going to put us on t-shirts.
The giant flying boar.
Yeah.
Jokes on us, it's actually an ancient dragon.
And he's
For real.
sustaining himself off tree bark, so he's insanely strong.
Well,
Good place.
for me, for 2026, what I already mentioned the pine nuts that I'm really excited about. I'm hoping to do more lacto ferments with fruit. Just that crab, like it never really. I did bananas once. That was actually pretty good as like a salt lacto ferment. The crab apples now just kind of solidified that idea. Now I want to try it with like other things. Usually when I think of fermenting fruits, it's like, oh, make a wine or like a
Vinegar and
vinegar or
yeah.
like a soda, soda. But the saltiness, there's sweet and salty is a good mix sometimes. And then I would say the mushroom wise for me, agaricus species and lactarius mushrooms. So, milk caps and like the store-bought criminy type mushrooms. Those are two I've never really dabbled with that much, but I see them all the time. So it's time to really dive in and get my hands dirty there and learn, because that I think will just widen my scope of potential wild mushroom species, edible mushroom species to gather. And I walk through all these fields of tons of agaricus hunting every year, and I'm like, I don't really know that much about
They're
them.
probably
But
edible. They're probably all edible.
yeah, from what I
You can walk over
understand,
the
like
top
if you're
of them.
not staining yellow and smelling like chemicals,
They don't stain bright yellow and smell like chemicals. They're edible.
you're probably pretty safe. Yeah. So still got to do more research, and
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll have some vlogs on the channel for that. And Lindy, I know you're interested in the native fruit trees, right?
Yeah, I want to try to propagate a bunch of trees on our property,
Yeah.
and like any fruit tree I can find, I'm gonna bring it here, see if it lives. I don't really have a green
cuttings
thumb.
or seeds.
Both. I'm just gonna try it all, see
I
what
think-
grows.
I think cuttings might go a little bit quicker than seeds.
Yep.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to offer tips.
Yes.
My day
That's
job.
Ryan's day job. Yeah.
Right.
We need to talk more with him about that.
I'll be calling you.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then I'm also very excited to hopefully figure out like a wild wedding cake is one of my like goals. Is I want to get something that we can eat that's like our little cake thing that has
A
as much
giant-
wild shit in it as possible.
Bird cherry cake
Yeah, the bird cherry cake.
with choke cherry.
Bird cherry
That'd be so
cake.
cool.
So good. People love it.
Yeah, from
Huh.
from Alan Burgo's book.
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't had it. I'll have
We
to
need
try
to
it.
look that up.
Yeah.
If you guys
It's
enjoyed
pretty
your choke
inspirational.
cherry bread, you're gonna love this cake.
Yeah.
It's called bird berry cake.
Bird,
Bird
cherry.
cherry.
But
Bird
you can use
cherry.
choke. You can use choke cherry too.
Okay.
Sweet.
Heck yeah.
Well, that solves that.
And I have the book. So what is it? Just to
Nice.
give him a shout out, like Flora. What is
Flora.
it called?
Yeah.
Flora by
Yes.
Alan Burgo. And his
Flora.
second book, Fauna, is about to come out, about to drop next year.
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
Nice.
I actually did a podcast
Right.
with Alan. Like, oh, you got it.
There,
Victor?
that one right there.
Nice.
Nice.
Do all foragers have overloaded bookshelves? in their house?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Look at all
Our
I
those
think
bookshelves are
extra
unbelievable right
books.
now.
Like,
I'm actually hoping to add that down here
We have
eventually.
all of the bookshelves right now are in the front room, and so it's like books of all kinds.
Yeah.
my wife and I
So
are
we're gonna
building
have like
a
fantasy
library
books
in
and
our
then
house
foraging.
just to fit all the books we have.
Like a true scholar. I
I
love
love
it. Yeah. All right, guys. So last to kind of end it out here. It's been an awesome conversation with you. We didn't even talk that much about Acorns with Bryan, but we'll have to do that another time. What did foraging give you this year beyond food? What would you guys say? What did foraging give you beyond food?
Connection and appreciation to the land and nature around me, for sure. Every time I'm out, I just feel that. Even if I'm not actively harvesting, just even more so sometimes when I'm like doing photography, I'm able to just like focus in on a little bit more specifically and differently than I do when I'm foraging, and feel more deeply connected. And I notice more for sure as well. Just like, oh, I never noticed these plants were here on this trail I've walked 100 times.
Yeah. Right. Love that.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim?
Yeah, foraging was a way initially for me to get away from people, and it's only brought me back full circle to people and building community and just sharing the gift that came into my life when I needed it most. So I love being able to share with other people.
Totally.
Yeah.
For me too.
I think it's so funny how that works. Like when I started, I was like, oh yeah, I can go into the woods by myself and look at plants for 3 hours, not talk to anybody. And now it's like, who could I take to go look at plants with me for 3 hours and talk to? Like, that'd be so nice. So
Yeah, for me too. The community, like especially like meeting you guys in person, just make more connections, going to Wild Food Fest in Wisconsin. I like for anyone listening, highly recommend going out, like taking that money and going to foraging classes around the US if you can do that. It's just awesome to meet new people and just there's not a ton of us out there, overall. So meeting fellow nerds is always a special thing, and it just makes everyone's learning easier. I always say, like, if I have a friend group of foragers and mentors, I can live many lifetimes through all these people, and I can learn so much more because there's no way I can learn it all myself, but we can all focus on something else and share it with each other and can all benefit from that. So
definitely.
Well,
And
thanks,
we're all
guys.
like super nerdy about other things too.
Yes,
Like
indeed.
all of Tim's fantasy books that I can see behind him. I also have a bunch of those like right there.
Yeah, us too.
Just all like
Nerd.
plant nerds and fantasy nerds and gamers. It's
Yeah.
funny how all those things are so similar.
Indeed. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks everybody for being participants in the chat today. Tell everyone one more time where they can go find you guys and maybe even find your foraging classes and all that. And I highly recommend taking classes with these guys. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah, thanks. This has been great. If anybody finds themselves in Minnesota and you want to learn what's outside, just look up Ironwood Foraging.
Like, yeah.
I've taken classes with Tim. It's very fun. Would recommend. For me, Forage Colorado or Orion Aon.
Yeah.
Forage Colorado is my website. You can find all my classes and stuff there.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Sweet, guys. You two stick around quick after we end stream so everything can upload. But yeah, appreciate you guys
Thanks
being here
everyone
today,
for
and
being in the chat.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year, everybody.
New Year.
Thanks, chat.
Bye-bye.